Back to the 80s with Dennis Wood.
You are tuned to Back to the 80s. I'm Dennis Wood, and this is a thrill, folks. We have 80s legend Rick Springfield joining us this morning. Good morning, Rick.
Hey, Dennis. Great to join you.
Hey, thank you so much for taking the time. Question number one. Seriously, are you a vampire? Seriously, dude. You look fantastic. Your
Thanks.
concerts are as high energy as ever. How do you never age? And how do you still perform at the level you do? 6 decades now into your career. What's your secret, Rick?
I love what I do, basically. You know, it's I get energy from the crowd. It's really almost not my energy. You know, I just love what, like I said, I love what I do. I have always got new stuff coming out, and be fortunate enough to have an audience that's interested. So very lucky in that respect.
You've played well over 1,600 concerts in your career. What is it about performing live that artists can't stop doing, and what drives you?
It's a connection, really. I'm kind of older, but I'm just, you know, off stage and away from things at home. But the social side of me comes out when I play, and I like that. And I really miss it when I'm not doing it, because it's important part. You know, we're social animals, and I'm not that social in my private life, but I try and make up for it, you know, playing live and doing shows and public stuff. That's really my connection. Is absolutely why I do it.
Well, Rick, your life story is just remarkable, and so many things we could talk about, but let's focus on the music and primarily a couple of your biggest hits. Want to start out, though, with an obscure tune of yours from 1981 about some dude's girl that you were pining for, and she ended up giving you she gave you the $1 million snub.
Yeah, that's a good name.
the $1 million snub.
Getting it snubbed, you may be able to get a good song out of it, right?
Jesse's Girl. It's just as relevant today as it was when it came out 43 years ago. Does it just blow you away that song is still so popular? And how do you explain that?
I can't really explain it. I think it's just one of those songs that just gets into the, you know, worldwide consciousness, and I don't know why, and nobody else does. I think it was, you know, a good summer hit, and the universal theme for sure. A lot of people have come up and said, yeah, I felt, you know, that there's not a lot of songs about it. I guess there's not a lot of it's not like a straight love song, and it's a complex kind of pop song, and I think the gods just smiled on that one. I don't know why, but I'm glad they did.
I'm sure everybody knows the story. You were taking a stained glass class alongside a guy named Gary and his hot girlfriend. When you wrote the song, you didn't like the way Gary sounded, so you used the name Jesse. Now, I always heard that you got the name Jesse from Ron Jesse. He was a wide receiver for the L.A. Rams at the time. Is that true?
Yeah, it is, actually. I was wearing a T-shirt that I picked up at a local, you know, like a Walmart kind of store back in like '79, I guess, when he was still playing with the Rams. And it just had his name on the back, Jesse, Jessie, which is why I misspelled it on the record. It's the female version, the male version, Jesse. So I misspelled it because of Ron Jesse, but that's where I got the spelling of the name. And yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah.
Did you ever meet him? And did he know that you used his name?
No, I think he passed away. I've only really kind of been telling that story over the last couple of years, so I'd actually forgotten it myself until I found a T-shirt again in a bunch of old clothes. It reminded me of how I'd gotten the spelling for the name.
Oh man, I can't fathom what that shirt would be worth today.
I still have it.
You are tuned to Back to the 80s. Rick Springfield is with us. Well, the follow-up single to Jesse's Girl sailed into the top 10, too. It's a song written by your friend Sammy Hagar, I've Done Everything for You. Now, you and Sam have a history, and you guys have been friends for years. And you two recently got into business together. And now, is this true? Rick Springfield is now making rum.
Yeah, we are. Sammy called me up through COVID and said he's got this rum company because he heard that I was, you know, I've known him since 1981, and he said he'd heard from someone that I was interested in getting in the alcohol business, and he said, rather than have you be competition, why don't we team up? And he had this, he's had a home run with it before with the Cobble Wobble, and because we have a relationship, and it's, alcohol and music, it's kind of
peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, it seemed like a natural thing. And we've had a lot of fun with it so far, too. We've done a couple of shows. We're still looking to promote it. And it's a natural, we do it organically. I talk about it on stage. And I think everybody that's got any kind of name is in the alcohol business. So it's a ton of competition. But I love the rum, and it's something that I've wanted to do for a long time.
I'm curious.
I brought the opportunity, and I took it.
I'm curious. Did you know Sammy before you covered I've Done Everything for You? Or did you guys meet after?
Yeah, we met after. Actually, Keith Olsen, who was a big producer in the 80s, did Foreigner and Fleetwood Mac's Rumors and Pat Benatar. He was a friend of my manager. He worked out of Sound City, which is my manager owns Sound City, the recording studio where all those albums were made. And he asked Keith if he'd do a couple of songs with me. I was unknown at the time. And I played him on my demos, and he picked Jesse's Girl out of it, but said, I want to bring in an outside song. And I was actually pissed because I consider myself a writer before anything. And I thought there were some great songs on the album. I didn't know why he didn't just pick another one off the album. But he brought in this song. And, I thought it was a pretty good song. And it was Keith Olsen. So I said, hell yeah, I'll record it. And it became a hit, and he was right. And I met Sammy through that. Sammy actually really helped me with the first few shows I did in L.A. He helped us get lights and sound, and was always been a supportive. He's a great guy. I really love him.
Well, he should help you out because the way Sammy talks, you put his kids through college with your version of his song.
Yeah, you said that before, I know.
Well, those two tracks came from your breakthrough album, Working Class Dog. That album had that iconic cover with your dog Ronnie in a shirt and tie.
Yeah.
Ronnie got so popular that you ended up putting him on your next album, too. He sure was your lucky charm. He was a stray when you adopted him. Is that correct?
Yeah. My next girlfriend that I just split up with before I started dating Barbara, the woman that became my wife. And we were still going through... my ex-girlfriend, I was still going through anger issues of having to live in the one house because we couldn't afford to move out separately, even though we'd broken up. And she called me up one time and said, I found this dog almost dodging cars in a parking lot. And he was still there when I came out, and I put him in the car, and he's in the garage if you want him. If not, take him to the pound. And I opened up the garage, went home and opened up the garage door, and this little black and white dog ran towards me sideways, and it was kind of love at first sight.
Why was his nickname Lethal Ronnie? I mean, he wasn't mean, was he?
No, it was because he had bad gas.
Lethal Ronnie.
Yeah, Lethal Ron.
Well, you've got a famous reputation as a dog lover, and where did that deep love of dogs come from?
Oh, God, I don't know. I don't get along with anybody who doesn't like dogs, so I think it's just innate. They help, they help me relax, they help me decompress. They're great companions, and I've had some amazing ones through my life.
Now, I understand you're doing an upcoming benefit for senior dog rescues.
Yeah, I give my time to animals and to kids, and I figure, adults, we've had a lot of years to make a life for ourselves. We're kind of on our own, but the kids and the dogs need help.
Well, that is awesome. That second album cover was hilarious. Success hasn't spoiled me yet with Ronnie partying in the limousine with two poodles. What did Ronnie think of that?
He didn't like the poodles. We had to photograph them separately. He kept going for them.
Oh.
He tried to hump one and he tried to eat the other. So we had to shoot them separately.
Oh man!
It was before Photoshop too, so I think they did a marvelous, amazing job getting them, to look like they were in the same car at the same time.
I got to pull my copy out and take a closer look.
Yeah, he's got a Coke spoon around his neck too. Nobody caught that.
Oh, I got to look closer. He was partying.
Mm-hmm.
Don't Talk to Strangers came from that album. It was That was really just as big a hit as Jesse's Girl. Got stuck at number 2 for a month. But do you remember what song kept Don't Talk to Strangers at number 2?
Yeah, I certainly do. Ebony and Ivory. I'm a big Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder fan, so it was kind of bittersweet, you know. I thought theirs was a great song, but they kept Strangers out from number 1, which is number 1s are like, you know, they're magic.
Yeah, well, Don't Talk to Strangers is an awesome record. It should have been a number 1 single,
Thanks.
too. I was always curious, did you write all the songs for your second album after the success of the first one, or did you have a stockpile of songs to pull from?
Yeah, I wrote all those for the after Working Class Dog. They're all there were none that I'd kind of pulled out of rehab for the second album. It was all new stuff, and I was very fired up, and I was on General Hospital at the time, and you have a lot of downtime. Actors have a lot of downtime, so I just had a keyboard and a guitar in my dressing room and just wrote there. And on the road, I was on the road a lot too. Just kind of came out, you know, excited about the success and wanted to write great songs.
You are tuned back to the 80s, most special 80s edition ever. We have Rick Springfield with us this morning.
Back to the 80s with Dennis Wood.
You are tuned back to the 80s. Rick Springfield is with us this morning. Coming to the Clearfield County Fair Friday, July 19th. Rick Springfield live in concert. Rick, I want to talk about the new album you have out, Automatic. Fantastic record, 20 tracks.
Oh, thanks.
And to me, it sounds like your 80s catalog reimagined for 2024. What was the recording process like on this new album?
I did it in my home studio, and I would sit out in a gazebo with a guitar and keyboard, and I'd write a song and then go in and record it, you know, because I wanted to get it all done. I played everything on it rather than calling the band, and then I'd come back out here and write another song and then go back in and record it. And when I ran out of ideas, I put the album out. That's basically what it was. I had a lot to save, though. I hadn't written in a while. I'd been listening to a lot of EDM, and I loved the big kick drum and, in EDM music. So I kind of incorporated that in pop.
Yeah, Rick, I'm telling you, this album rocks. Here's the title track, Automatic. Automatic from Rick Springfield, the title track from his great new album. And Rick, about that album, on a personal note, lost a friend to cancer earlier this year. He was a big fan of yours, too.
Oh, man.
And
sorry.
And right after we lost him, I heard the track She Walks with the Angels, and just wanted to thank you for that one. It's got a couple lines in that really hit me.
Yeah, I'd lost a couple of friends over the course of the album, too.
Yeah, that song is a great tune. I know that was a tribute to your longtime engineer, Matty Spindle. He passed away of cancer.
Yeah, that was a tough loss. He was my front of house and my studio engineer for 23 years, I think, and then he passed away, and right kind of towards the end of the album.
Yeah, tough stuff, man. Let's take a listen to that track, She Walks with the Angels.
She walks with the angels.
Rick Springfield is with us this morning, coming to the Clearfield County Fair Friday, July 19th. Rick Springfield live in concert. Rick, well, you got a deep catalog, 22 studio albums, 17 U.S. top 40 singles. How do you choose what makes the set list for your concerts and what doesn't?
Oh, I figure, maybe probably 90% of the people that come want to hear the hits, and 10% are hardcore that don't want to hear the hits. So they want to hear deeper stuff, album cut. So I try and balance that up, really. It's just a way of, over the years, I know what songs work best and what people seem to get a kick out of, and the songs that I can play with and mess around a little bit with, and have audience participation and stuff like that. It's just I like doing new music because we can. It always gives us a charge to play new songs, and sometimes we'll pull more from the past couple of albums songs out too, just to sharpen the band up and keep us all guessing.
Rick, I've always wanted to ask you this. You have an iconic stage move during your concerts, and I'm curious, how did smashing flowers on your guitar start? I don't know, when I first started going back on the road, people would bring flowers, I guess, and
one woman was trying to shove them into my hand while I was up front playing.
Oh.
And she stuck me with the thorns, and I got mad, so I grabbed them and smashed them against the guitar. And that became a thing. People started bringing roses for me to smash up, so it's a kind of variation on the Pete Townsend Windmill, really, is what it is, the extension of that.
You have an awesome band backing you. Tim, George, Jorge on the drums, and your bass player, Siggy.
Siggy, yes. He's my secret weapon.
You guys play off each other during the shows. It's so much fun to watch live. How long has this group been playing together?
Wow. Siggy was the last one to join, I think, and it's been a few years now, about probably 5 years. But most of them have been, we've been together probably about 20 years now. Killer band, it really is. I'm really fortunate to have guys like this playing with me. It makes it so much more fun, and we can pull songs out of the hat, and they'll jump on them and not make too many mistakes, which is great.
You do so many things: songwriting, recording, touring, your acting career. You've written best-selling books. You host your own radio show. Do you have any downtime? And if so, what do you do to relax?
I take my wife and my dog. We go walking on the beach. That's the fun. Or I sit out here and write. I mean, writing is fun for me. It's a joy, and it's something that I've been allowed to form a career around, and I love that.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Rick, I know you got to get going. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today.
Thanks.
Rick Springfield coming to Clearfield. He will be live at the Clearfield County Fair Friday, July 19th, and we've got a pair of tickets for the show. Rick, will you help us give these away?
Sure thing.
All right, we're going to open up the phone lines. 814-768-WOKW. Going to give away 2 tickets. Rick, which numbered caller should we give the tickets to?
Oh, wow. I don't know. How about, 7?
All right, that is a good number.
Hey, it's a lucky number.
Lucky for sure. Phone lines are open, 814-768-WOKW for a pair of free passes to the Rick Springfield concert, Friday, July 19th at the Clearfield County Fair. We can't wait to see the show. Rick Springfield, thank you so much for calling in today.
All right, Dennis. Great talking with you. Thanks.
Great song to end with. I get excited. Everybody getting excited. Rick Springfield coming to town Friday, July 19th at the Clearfield County Fair. If you haven't got your tickets yet, don't wait. It's going to be an excellent show. Don't miss it. Hey, and thanks for joining me this morning for this very special Rick Springfield edition of Back to the 80s. A lot of fun this morning. Special thanks to Yvonne Lehman, Amanda Thompson, Jim Strickland, the Rick Springfield team at Crush Malibu Music Management, and, of course, a big thanks to Rick Springfield for joining us today. Tune in next Saturday morning for Classics from the Closet, 9 to 11, Back to the 80s till noon. This is Dennis Wood signing off. Thank you for tuning in.